Today we talked in depth about the Jacob Blake situation, the circumstances, the situation, the fact that he's in a hospital bed right now, handcuffed to the bed. And so we talked in depth about that situation and about everything that's been going on for the last couple of days. And it was a good conversation, difficult, but good. And the level of awareness has never been greater. So we got to move forward from here. And basketball's got to be therapeutic, but it stands for, right now, basketball stands for the fight against social injustice.
Okay, we'll start with Cassidy.
Coach, first, were you in the meeting on Wednesday night? And if you were, what was that?
I'm not going to get into any details about the meetings. I was in all the meetings. I'll say this. I was privileged to be invited to the meeting yesterday, along with Doc Rivers, Nick Nurse, Eric Spolstra, Brad Stevens, and Masai Ujiri. We were 6 coaches and GMs that were invited, and as an ex-player and an ex-active member of the Players Association, I was so proud of what the players accomplished in the meeting yesterday. I was proud of the way that they were able to address the situation with ownership, and they came out of it with a new justice coalition, and a lot of immediate action that can happen now with respect to voting, legislation, and a wide-ranging list of things. And so it was very constructive. It was a hard 2 days, very, very difficult 2 days. A lot up in the air, but the players' decision to continue to play is a very important one, historically, and the fight goes on from here.
And one more in the room here, Renee, from Brad, and then you can go to Zoom.
To a large degree, I think a lot of us in the bubble, we feel insulated, but amidst those tough 2 days, I wondered what your reaction was to seeing athletes and teams in other sports also step off the playing field.
Well, the NBA is a global leader with respect to social responsibility, social justice issues, always has been the most progressive league. And I know I'm very proud of our players with the Mavericks and our players in the NBA. I know that everyone on coaching staffs, management level, and support staffs feel the same way. This is an extremely important moment, and the NBA, the light shines brightly on the NBA as a leader, and so the important thing is awareness and to continue in this fight, in this conversation.
Okay, Callie.
Hey, Rick, Doc had said earlier that it might be tough for his team and his guys to get refocused for today's practice, given all that's transpired in the last couple of days. Curious, how do you think the team did from that perspective? And as a coach, how do you kind of manage that transition back to basketball?
Well, it was clear that we needed to have a strong conversation today about the last 48 hours. It was, it was great. A lot of the players spoke, some of the coaching staff spoke, some of our support staff spoke. There are a lot of difficult things going on here in Orlando. The isolation has been very challenging for everyone. And it's important that we talk about those things and we talk about the realities, and we talk about methods to cope and methods to keep doing our jobs. I mean, we're very privileged to be in a position where there is a platform, and simply doing the thing that we love, playing and coaching, is a form of action towards social justice. It's a great blessing. So the players' decision to continue to play is huge, and we've got to move forward from here. But we had this was about a 30-minute conversation, at half court before we did our lifting, and then got in practice, and it was constructive, it was honest, and we were able to refocus and have a constructive day. So move forward to tomorrow and keep going.
Okay, Mark Followell.
Rick, one of the things that you said to us during this is that as a coach, you're an educator, and that's why you've taken a role in educating about racial injustice. And I was wondering, in this process, as an educator, you also have to go through an educational process yourself. So I was curious if you could share with us what you feel like that you've learned about your players and the league's players. And you've alluded to this a little bit in some of your previous answers, but what specifically do you feel like you've learned about your players and the league's players in the last 48 hours? And what would be the thing that you would stress to the rest of us that would be the educational takeaway from what's transpired in the last 48 hours?
Well, the word that comes to mind is care. I mean, they care about what is going on in the world. The players care about what's going on in the world, and they care about action. A lot of us are sick of hearing the term, keep the conversation going. Action is what everybody wants. It's what everybody wants to see. It's what everybody wants to be a part of, constructive action. And yesterday's conversation with the governors, between the players and the governors, were strong steps toward decisive, immediate action that can help chip it away at a problem that's 400 plus years old. And so, coming away from it, the high level of care is the word that I would use.
Okay, next up is Eddie.
Rick, I guess basketball questions might be a little ancillary right now, but have the couple of days interruption made a difference of any sort in KP's situation?
KP did not practice today. He got treatment and did some rehab work. He's very doubtful for tomorrow.
Okay, Tim Cato.
Rick, when you talk about the education that has gone on, that you've spurred and made sure to happen with this team, how different is it that this team is so international, that many of the players, I think 6 or 7, did not grow up here with American history courses, and what is those moments of education taken on with them as you are probably teaching, telling, showing them things that they had no basis of understanding because of their upbringing in different countries?
The way we've done this is that every day somebody different from our group will do one of the readings from the Equal Justice Initiative calendar. And the calendar, every day of the year is the anniversary of some event of racial injustice. And so whoever's reading on a particular day will get the short description from the calendar, and then they'll do some research on it, and they'll read the description, and then they'll give an expanded explanation and more context. Because the calendar is is just kind of like regular size. The the explanations of events are in small compartments, and so there's just no room to expand. We've had some members of our group that have actually, ventured into some PowerPoint stuff, showing pictures and illustrations and explanations, etc. So, your question about our international players is a good question. I would not presume to try to give you an answer of how they view things. I think this is a very personal thing for everybody. We're all being educated on a daily basis, some of us more than others. But we've been consistent with this. Today was the first day that, we really took this conversation, on the court instead of in the meeting room, and got into deeper detail about what's going on right now.
Okay, the last one's going to be from Stephen Dial.
Hey, Coach, Stephen Dial, Fox 4. Kind of just talk about, you mentioned action. Talk about the significance of making AAC a voting location and investing into Dallas ISD. Talking about those physical items that people back here at home will see and can spur change as well.
Yeah, that was a big priority for us, and one of the demands of the players in this new coalition is that every NBA arena, to the extent that it's possible, be opened as a voting site. The other thing that I'm sure many of you saw was there's going to be television time set aside to have advertisements about voter suppression and the importance of voting and how to get registered to vote. Those things are key. In our city, since we formed Coaches for Racial Justice, I've worked with Jamal Mosley from my staff, Stephen Silas from my staff, and Dwight Powell, obviously one of our players, along with Colette Flanagan from Mothers Against Police Brutality. We've met with the mayor. We've met with T.C. Broadnax, the city manager. We've met with Chief Renee Hall. And we talked to them about our immediate desire to have, there are eight really important policies with regard to policing, called 8 Can't Wait. There's a website that has the 8 things, and the metrics say that when all 8 things are in place, deaths via police brutality decrease exponentially. And so as we get into this, Dallas only had 4 of the 8 things in place. And there were 4 additional ones. Well, the last one, our conversations and emails and work with Colette, 3 of those 4 things are now in place. So Dallas now has 7 out of 8 positive policies relative to police brutality in a good place. The last thing that needs to be addressed is a ban on shooting at moving vehicles. That would be the 8th thing. And that's the next thing that we're going for. So during this period, the platform that we have and our, invested honest interest in this has elicited some changes that are tangible. Another thing that I'm proud to announce is that our relationship with Mothers Against Police Brutality has also inspired the Mavericks organization to donate $200,000 to the Mothers Against Police Brutality Fellowship Program. And so, look, when people are focused on a task or a set of tasks, And they're steadfast, and they're sincere. Good things can happen, but you cannot let up on the accelerator. I mean, this, racism, systemic oppression, police brutality issues, they don't just go away. I mean, the pressure has got to stay on. And as coaches, we're in this for the long haul. It was clear to me yesterday from our meeting, with the players and the governors that players and ownership are in this struggle and fight for the long haul. And, that's what this is all about.
Thanks, Rick. Appreciate you.
Okay.